I'm out of the etrailer. Today we're going to be talking about the BakFlip MX4 tonneau cover on the back for a 2024 Ram 2500. Now this is going to be a great option if you're looking for a really clean finish for the back of your truck, but you want that security too. So let's check it out. I think this is going to be a great option for anyone who needs to protect anything that's valuable, either from any type of weather conditions, from the rain, snow, whatever it be. And you want to make sure no one's going to take your stuff, anything like your tools or anything along those lines that you put a lot of time and investment to. Because when we compare this to more of a soft style tonneau cover, that style, someone could just come over here, cut right into your tonneau cover and grab what they need. With this is going to be pretty tough. Another thing that I really like about it is just going to be a really nice finish on top of the back of your bed. And what is even more is it's super easy to use. And I can show you that now. Open this, we're going to have to open our tailgate first. With that out of the way, you're just going to have this wire underneath on either side. You pull on that, you can open it up. And this is going to be fairly light, which is nice for it being a folding style tonneau cover. Now, you notice I didn't have a strap there. This will make it easy if you need to grab anything from your bed that's closer to the tailgate. If you need to go further in, there's going to be an additional strap here that will fold up. And if you need max bed space, we can even fold it up one more time, which when I compare that to other types of folding hard tonneau covers is a pretty rare asset. Now you're going to have these bars that will help hold this into place so you don't have to worry about it falling down on you when you're driving around. Now the one downside to this style is it's going to block your back window, but what you get out of that is full bed access. There's some other types of tonneau covers. If you go with a soft roll-up tonneau cover, you'll get that full bed space and be able to see out your back window. You lose that on that security. If you go with a canister style though, that'll let you see out your back window, but it will take up a lot of that bed space. So this is kind of the best of both worlds. This is what it's going to look like on the cab side. So we're just barely going to be making contact with our window, but we have some padding here so we don't scratch or damage anything. And here at the bottom, it's going to be a little bit more open. And this is how we get this really good fit, prevent this from rattling around and bouncing as you're driving about. Let's say you want full bed access, what you can do still is remove this. So you're just going to have a hand knob on either side, and this tonneau cover will detach from the rest of it. Even the bed rails can stay right into place. And when it comes to keeping water out from your bed, no tonneau cover is going to be completely 100% waterproof, but this one does a really good job in a couple different ways. So all the edges are going to have some type of seal to it to prevent water from seeping through. And if any water enters this channel right here, what this is going to do is lead that right out. And there's going to be some tubing that leads right outside of your vehicle. So you don't have to worry about that spilling in here either. Now let's get a couple measurements to see how this is going to fit on here. So the first measurement I'm going to talk about is going to be the space underneath the tonneau cover. And that's going to be just under 20.5 inches. So that will allow you to fit most things underneath here and even some fifth wheels as well. Now for the total height this is adding to your vehicle, of course, if this is folded up, it's going to add a little bit of height, but when fully out, this is only going to be just a little bit over 1/4 of an inch. So this is going to be really low profile. And what's nice about this is it's not taking up a lot of space on your bed rail. So if you have any stake pockets, those are not going to be blocked. In my opinion, I think this is going to be a solid choice. Again, if you're looking for something that's going to be easy to use, it's going to give you that security, and it's just going to look nice on the back of your truck. Now, I've seen a lot of tonneau covers, and a lot of them can get the job done, but when it comes to them looking nice and actually feeling good, this one probably takes the cake for me. Now when it comes to actually installing it, it's a pretty simple process, but we do talk about some tips and tricks. So if you are curious to see that, just stay tuned, we'll walk you through the process. So let's start off by putting on the seal on the bulkhead side of our bed. And what I'm going to do is pull that out and start removing that paper lining on the bottom of this. Pull that down just a bit, and we're going to put it on the side here, furthest away from your cab. And we're just going to go all the way across. Sometimes you might get some paper that kind of rips off. Just take that off too. And now we can move over to the rails themselves. What I like to do first is remove this padding here. That's going to protect this tubing for any type of water that rush out of here. So we're going to have this other tube that goes right into it. And what I do is, if it's kind of tough just to push on, I'll twist and push at the same time to get this into place. I like to do this first before we get on our rails, because it can be a little bit awkward if we don't. Once we have this on all the way, we can take this and make sure we have the correct side. So this tubing is going to go on our cab side, and it's going to face in this orientation. And what I'm going to do with this tubing, because in our case today, we already have this drilled out. If you don't, you'll have to drill that out yourself. But I'm just going to push this through here. And if you do end up drilling this out yourself, just make sure you check what's behind that area so you're not drilling into any wiring. Now with that through there, we're just going to adjust this and then grab our clamps. With these clamps, what I recommend doing is unassembling them first. So by unthreading this bolt, once we get that off of there, we're going to separate all those pieces for the moment. And then we're going to grab the outside section that's going to have this elongated hole on it. We're going to attach it to these rails. So the way we do that is by tilting it up so we get a better view of what's happening here. You're going to have this opening here, and it facing in this orientation. It should look something like this. Once you have it there, apply some force. You'll kind of hear it click into place, but we want it to be facing more straight down. There we go, like this. Once you have it, you can actually slide this up and down on your rails. And what I'm going to do is try to get this one as centered as possible. Once it is, we'll grab the back side. You're going to notice we have this tab here. That tab is going to sit on the very top of this tab. So put it in just like that. And then you're going to have this bolt that goes through and connects them together. This typically is a little bit easier if you have someone to help you, but it is definitely still doable by yourself. And then we're just going to hand tighten this down. And once that is on, then we can repeat that process with one on the tailgate side and one on the cab side. With all those hand tight, we're going to grab a socket and wrench, and I'm going to recommend that you tighten this down to what's in your instructions, just so we don't over or under tighten this. And once you get this one done, then you can repeat this whole process on the other side. Moving over to the tonneau cover, you're going to get it initially like this, and what we're going to do is unfold it, and that's going to reveal this side that's going to go closest to your cab. There's going to be a piece of tape. We're going to remove that. It's going to reveal two holes. It's going to have two more holes on the other side too. With those removed, we're going to start with the underside. That's going to be the side that's facing up originally. We're going to put these two retainers through here, just like that. And what we're going to do from here is thread these onto place, just like so, with that clip and these two bolts on either side. Now, what I recommend before actually getting on there is just to test the threads on here, because sometimes you might get caught on some powder coat on these bolts. So I'll just run that all the way through, making sure I don't have any issues. If you do find an issue, you might have to spray some silicone in here just to loosen that up a bit. But this one's looking pretty good, and we'll check the other one too. Another thing that you'll want to do before you bolt that together is take this weather seal. It's going to have an adhesive side on one side of it. We're just going to match that up to the contours of this clip, and we're going to line up those holes. There we have it. Apply some pressure to it. Make sure it's on there fairly well. And we'll actually start putting it on. The best way I find to do that is when you put these two retaining pieces in there, is just hold them in place with the other hand. And we want to make sure this clip is facing in this direction. Then we'll drop those bolts through here and tighten them down. You're going to need a Phillips screwdriver to do this. Next up, we're going to grab this other piece that goes with your tonneau cover. It's going to have this knob on the bottom. We're just going to loosen that up. Initially, it's going to be on there pretty tight. Then you can push that through. And the head of that carriage bolt is going to go into this channel. Starting with the bolt first, then the rest of it. We're just going to roughly put it on here now. Doesn't have to be perfect yet. I'm just going to kind of lightly snug this up. And do that on the other side. Same thing with the clip on the very top. Now let's grab our tonneau cover and lift it up. I find it best just to grab it from the center. One head on the bulkhead side, one on the tailgate side. And we're just going to walk it over here and try to keep it as centered as possible. If you're a little bit off to begin with, that's okay. We can adjust it here in a second. I'm just going to pull back on this some. I'll probably bring this over to my passenger side a bit more. There we have it. That feels much better. And this is looking pretty even on either side. So what I'm going to do here is push it forward until this makes contact with the bulkhead. Making sure that weather stripping doesn't get caught underneath there. And there we have it. And now I'm just going to continue to unfold this some. And as I'm doing this, we're just making sure everything is even on either side. We're hearing the clicks, making sure this is locking in place. And it looks like it's centered on these grooves. We'll do it again. And once more. And I wouldn't recommend latching it into place yet. What I recommend doing is pushing up, lifting up some, locking it into place. And this is the last check where we know if it's even or uneven. I might kind of pull this actually a little bit to one side some. That's looking much better. And now we can push down and latch it. And then we'll push it or roll it back up into that first position we had it. Now we're going to come underneath the tonneau cover and this clamp that we put on earlier with that hand knob. We're going to loosen up that hand knob. That's going to give us the ability to adjust this and push this out until it snaps around our rails. Once it does that, we're going to tighten this down. You don't have to do it too tight, we just want it to be nice and snug. And then we're going to repeat that on the other side. Let's come to the very top. I got this last panel folded up, and what we want to check is what it's going to make contact with if you were to push it all the way in this direction. And right now, it's pretty close to making contact, so it's a good idea. We put on some of this foam padding that comes with your kit. And what I'd recommend putting it is right here and here, because we have this second window that does roll up, and we don't want this getting in the way of anything, and these two sections are the closest thing to our tonneau cover. So what I'll do is put one probably roughly here, and another one on the other side. We want to make sure we prep the surface too, so I went with a alcohol swipe and just wipe that down, and then we'll just take off the adhesive paper, the back side of this. It's going to be this red strip. Once we get that taken off, we'll put it on. And here are going to be the spots we want to make contact with. Just showing you again, here and here. Now, let's put this on. Got that paper off. I'm gonna bring it a little bit closer in so I know exactly where to put this. I think this is gonna be good right there. When you do this, just put a little bit of force behind. We're putting that on. I'll let that down. And you can see it's just barely making contact here. I'm gonna do it on the other side now. And we got them both attached. And just kind of show you what this is gonna look like. I'll just lift this up, test it out, make sure we're looking good. And that's looking pretty good. Now you are gonna have a third strip as well. I don't have any other spots that I'm really noticing that we need to place this, but if you have another spot that you want to be just extra cautious of, you can put it down there, or you can even cut it in half and put one on each corner. And once that's done, we can just unfold it. And that pretty much do it for our installation. If you guys have any other questions, let us know here at eTrailer. And again, I'm Matt, and thanks for watching.